Welcome, fellow explorers, to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a true classic, a book that's really profoundly impacted countless lives. Stephen R. Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Absolutely. It's one of those foundational texts, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And if you've ever felt that, that disconnect between achieving things but maybe not feeling fulfilled inside, or just wondered how some people seem to navigate everything with such, well, grace and impact, this deep dive is for you.
Exactly. This isn't just like a list of management tips or productivity hacks. Not at all.
Right.
It's a really profound exploration of human effectiveness, praised by leaders everywhere, business, education, you name it. Covey offers these like durable truths for navigating challenges, family, business, society.
And they last, right? They're not just fads.
That's the key. They stand the test of time.
So our mission today is to really extract the core wisdom here, and we want to focus especially on the powerful stories Covey uses to illustrate his points.
Yeah, the stories are key.
And we'll explore how these insights can maybe be applied in your own life for, greater effectiveness. Help bridge that gap between where you want to be and where you are.
And Covey saw this problem so clearly. Lots of people achieve incredible outward success, career milestones, money.
Mm-hmm. The visible stuff.
Right. But they find themselves struggling with this, like inner hunger, a deep need for personal congruency, healthy relationships. He talks about deep problems, painful problems.
Like what specifically?
Well, things that quick fix approaches can't solve, like a marriage where the feeling seems gone or, a rebellious teenager. These aren't surface issues.
Definitely not. And he doesn't sugarcoat it, does he? He says addressing these deep problems needs a fundamental shift.
That's his revolutionary idea.
Yeah.
True. Lasting change has to come from inside out.
Inside out, meaning?
Meaning we start with ourselves, our own character, our perceptions, not trying to just manipulate things on the outside or learn a few new techniques.
Okay, so it's rooted in moving away from what he called the personality ethic.
Exactly. That's all the surface stuff, social image, techniques, quick fixes, basically trying to put on a good show without the substance underneath.
So if I'm getting this, it's like we're trading a quick fix Band-Aid for a full body detox, moving from that surface personality ethic to the character ethic.
You got it. Built on fundamental qualities like integrity, humility, courage, patience. Those core things.
Right. Things that last.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that genuine goodness, strong character, that's what gives life an authenticity to any technique you might use later on.
Okay. Let's unpack that foundation then. Let's dive into part 1. The core foundation, character ethic, paradigms, and proactivity. All right. So Stephen Covey kicks this off with a really personal story, doesn't he? About his own son.
Yeah, it's quite moving, actually. His son was having a really tough time. School struggles, academically, socially immature, athletically uncoordinated. Kids were laughing at him.
Awful. And Covey and his wife, Sandra, they tried everything, right? Pep talks.
Positive mental attitude stuff, praising tiny improvements, all the standard advice. But nothing seemed to land. His son's self-esteem was just plummeting.
So what was the turning point?
Well, after a lot of painful thinking, they realized something crucial. Their underlying perception, their subconscious belief about their son was that he was basically inadequate.
Oof. Even if they didn't say it.
Exactly. No matter their words or actions, that deep down belief, that paradigm was being communicated somehow. And that led Covey to his big realization about paradigms.
Which are like our maps of the world.
Precisely. Our ways of seeing and interpreting things, they're like maps. And if you have the wrong map, well, trying harder just gets you to the wrong place faster.
Right. The map isn't the territory.
But the map itself shapes how we interpret the territory. That's the key.
That is such a powerful idea. It makes me think of that classic picture. The young lady, old lady one.
Oh, yeah, the optical illusion.
Exactly. Some people see the young woman straight away. Others see the old woman.
Yeah.
Same picture, totally different perception.
And both are right, based on their conditioning, their map.
Which really makes you wonder, how often do we judge someone when they just have a different map? A different perspective we haven't even considered?
So often. And a true paradigm shift, as Covey calls it, can change everything in an instant. Like that story he tells about the subway.
Oh, the subway incident. Yeah, tell us that one.
Okay, so he's on a New York subway. It's Sunday morning. People are quiet, reading, resting. Then this man gets on with his kids.
Oh.
And the kids are just wild, loud, throwing things, grabbing papers, total chaos. But the father just sits there, eyes closed, seemingly oblivious.
And everyone's getting annoyed, I imagine.
Totally. Covey's feeling his irritation rise, thinking, how insensitive can this guy be? So finally, trying to be patient, he leans over and asks the man to maybe control his children a bit.
And the man's response?
The man looks up, kind of dazed, and says, essentially, "Oh, you're right. I guess I should do something about it. We just came from the hospital where their mother died about an hour ago. I don't know what to think, and I guess they don't know how to handle it either."
Wow. Wow.
Instantly, Covey's entire paradigm shifted. His irritation vanished, replaced by
Compassion. Empathy.
Exactly. Suddenly, he saw the situation completely differently. He wanted to help. That's the power of a paradigm shift. It changes how you feel, how you act, everything.
It really hits home. Our paradigms, the lens we see through, they fundamentally affect how we interact, how we experience reality itself.
Absolutely.
So let's nail down the key takeaway on paradigms. It's that crucial difference, right? Not the superficial personality ethic, but building the deep character ethic.
Yes. And recognizing that our perceptions, our internal maps, our paradigms, they fundamentally shape our reality and our effectiveness.
And that whole inside-out approach means real change starts by changing ourselves first, by shifting how we see things, not just what we do.
Couldn't have said it better.
Okay, so that understanding of paradigms leads us straight into habit 1, doesn't it? Be proactive.
It does. And proactivity, well, it's more than just taking initiative, though that's part of it.
What's the core then?
At its heart, it's about the fundamental human ability to choose your response. Covey puts huge emphasis on this. Between stimulus and response, there's a space.
The space.
A freedom, a power to choose that response. Our behavior is a function of our decisions, not just our conditions. We can actually subordinate feelings to values.
And the ultimate story for this has to be Viktor Frankl.
Right.
In the Nazi death camps.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, talk about extreme conditions, stripped of everything, family, dignity, everything. His captors controlled his environment, his body.
But not his mind.
Exactly. He discovered what he called the last of the human freedoms, the power to choose his internal response, his attitude.
How did he do that?
He'd project himself mentally. Imagine himself lecturing students after his release, teaching the psychological lessons he was learning right there. This internal choice, it transformed his experience, gave him meaning, even inspired others. Guards, too.
Incredible. Just incredible resilience.
It's a profound testament to choice. And Covey connects this directly to our language. How we talk reflects whether we're proactive or reactive.
Okay, how so?
Reactive language is things like, I have to, I can't, if only. It basically transfers responsibility. He makes me so mad.
Blaming someone else for your feeling.
Right. Or I can't do that, suggesting you're just a victim of circumstance.
So what does this mean for how we talk day to day? What's the impact?
Well, proactive language asserts choice. I choose to, I prefer, I will. It reminds us and others that we are responsible for our responses, our actions, our lives.
Like that student example.
Yeah.
The one who said he had to go on the tennis trip.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Covey questioned him gently, and the student realized, no, he wasn't forced. He chose to go because he wanted the consequence staying on the team.
So he changed his language.
He shifted to, I choose to go. It sounds small, but that internal shift, acknowledging the choice, is huge.
And this applies even to big things, like love.
Definitely. Covey says love is a verb. Reactive people often treat love as just a feeling, something that happens to them. If the feeling's gone, well, that's it.
But proactive people.
Proactive people see love as an action, a choice, a sacrifice. Committing to loving actions actually generates the feeling of love.
Wow, that flips things around. So the feeling is the fruit of the action, not necessarily the driver.
Exactly. It raises a big question. How many of our important feelings are actually a result of our choices in action, not just things that happen to us?
That really changes how you think about commitment, relationships, everything. Okay, another key idea here is the circles, right? Circle of concern versus circle of influence.
Yes. The circle of concern is all the stuff we worry about but can't really control. National debt, the weather, other people's choices.
Things we fret about.
Right. The circle of influence is the stuff we can actually do something about. Our attitude, our skills, our work habits, how we treat people.
And proactive people focus where?
On their circle of influence. They work on the things they can change. And the amazing thing is, when you do that consistently, your circle of influence actually starts to expand.
Can you give an example?
Sure. That executive Covey worked with, treated like a gopher, basically, by a dictatorial boss. His colleagues just complained circle of concern.
What do you do?
He focused on his circle of influence, anticipated the boss's needs, provided solutions before being asked, worked with the boss's strengths. Slowly, his influence grew until he was indispensable. His circle expanded dramatically.
Makes you think of people like Gandhi, too. No
Yeah.
formal power, right? Out in the rice paddies.
Exactly. While others were maybe just condemning the British Empire, Gandhi was quietly working within his circle of influence, building trust, using moral persuasion. And eventually his influence expanded to millions, achieving massive political change. He focused on what he could do.
And this connects to the haves versus the bees.
Perfectly. The circle of concern is full of haves. If only I had a better boss, if only I had more money. It's about blaming externals.
Whereas the circle of influence,
It's full of bees. I can be more patient, I can be more resourceful, I can be kinder. It's about taking responsibility for who you are, how you act.
like the story of Joseph in the Bible, sold into slavery, wrongly imprisoned for years. Talk about tough circumstances.
Exactly. He could have focused on what he didn't have, freedom, justice, but he was proactive. He focused on being excellent, trustworthy, capable,
So he ran Potiphar's house, then the prison.
and eventually pretty much all of Egypt. His influence grew because he focused on being, despite his terrible halves.
So for you listening right now, Covey throws down a challenge, doesn't he? The 30-day test.
Yep. For 30 days, try consciously working only in your circle of influence. Make commitments only about things you can control. Be a light, not a judge. A model, not a critic.
Be part of the solution, not the problem. What simple shifts could you make right now?
It's a powerful exercise.
Okay, so let's recap habit 1. Be proactive. Key takeaway. It's all about owning your choices, your responsibility.
Right. Consciously focusing energy on your circle of influence, what you can change. Not wasting it on the circle of concern.
And remembering that crucial insight, love, and maybe many other feelings, are often actions first. Verbs, not just passive emotions.
You got it.
Okay, that idea of internal choice, taking responsibility, it really sets the stage for how we manage ourselves, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Which brings us perfectly into part 2. Personal leadership and management. Started with habit 2.
Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. This one starts with a pretty intense visualization exercise.
Yeah, it's powerful. He asks you to imagine your own funeral, say 3 years from today.
Right. You walk in, see family, friends, then you look in the casket. It's you.
Then you sit down, get the program, and there are 4 speakers scheduled. Someone from your family, a friend, a work colleague, someone from your community or church.
And the core question is, what would you want each of them to honestly say about your life, about your character, your contributions, your relationships?
It's designed to connect you directly with your deepest values, what truly matters to you at the end of the day, what you want your life to stand for.
And this highlights the core principle of habit 2. All things are created twice.
Exactly. There's a mental or first creation, and then a physical or second creation.
Like building a house.
Perfect analogy. You design it completely first, right? Blueprints, sketches, visualizing everything before you hammer a single nail. That first mental creation is crucial. If you don't get that right.
The physical creation won't work.
Precisely.
And this is where Covey draws that vital distinction, the one we often mix up. Leadership versus management.
Yes, leadership is the first creation. It's about doing the right things, deciding where you're going, which wall the ladder should be against.
Well, management.
Management is the second creation. It's doing things right, climbing that ladder efficiently, executing the plan.
So, like Drucker and Bennis said, management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things.
Exactly. Management is efficiency in climbing the ladder of success. But leadership determines if the ladder is even leaning against the right wall in the first place.
You could be climbing really fast, really efficiently.
Straight up the wrong wall. All that effort wasted if the leadership part, the first creation, wasn't sound.
It's like that jungle analogy he uses, isn't it? The managers are down there hacking away with machetes, super efficient.
Right, focused on the task, making progress. But the leader
climbs the tallest tree, looks around and yells, "Wrong jungle."
Haha, exactly. Without that leadership perspective, all the efficient management in the world might just get you deeper into the wrong place. It's a truly profound insight.
So how do we apply this first creation personally?
Well, this habit introduces the idea of rescripting.
Rescripting.
Yeah, the revolutionary idea that we can use our human endowments, self-awareness, imagination, conscience, to consciously write new, more effective scripts for our lives.
Instead of just living out old ones from our past or society.
Exactly. Instead of being programmed, we can become the programmer.
And the story of Anwar Sadat that really hits home here, doesn't it?
Oh, incredibly. Imprisoned in solitary confinement in Cairo?
Not exactly ideal circumstances for leadership.
Not at all. But he used that time to rescript himself. He learned to, step outside his own mind, examine his inherited scripts, his attitudes, his anger, and ask if they served him.
So he reprogrammed himself, essentially.
Through deep meditation, self-reflection, he gained this inner mastery and that clarity, that inner strength forged in prison. That's what later enabled him to make those incredibly bold, history-changing peace initiatives going to Jerusalem.
Wow. Imagine gaining that kind of clarity, that kind of fortitude in a prison cell.
His experience just profoundly shows how personal leadership, that first creation, can transform everything, even in the harshest environments.
And central to this personal leadership is the personal mission statement.
Yes, your personal constitution, a guiding philosophy for your life. It defines your core values, your purpose, your roles, your long-term goals.
So it acts like your compass.
Exactly, your internal compass, always pointing towards your true north, ensuring your daily actions align with what truly matters most to you.
Covey also talks about different life centers people tend to have, right? Things we build our lives around.
Yeah, things like spouse, family, money, work, possessions, pleasure, friends, even enemies, church, or just the self.
And the problem with these?
Is that each one offers only limited security, guidance, wisdom, and power. They're often unstable or external or changeable. So if your whole sense of worth is tied up in, say, your job, and you lose it...
Your whole world collapses.
Right. Or if you're spouse-centered, you might make decisions just to please them, even if it violates your own principles. It leads to vulnerability, skewed perspectives.
He uses that example of getting a concert invitation versus your boss needing urgent help.
Yeah, and depending on your center, spouse-centered, work-centered, self-centered, your decision and your motivation will be completely different, often leading to inner conflict when those centers clash.
So what's the alternative center?
Covey advocates for a principle center, basing your life on timeless, unchanging principles. Things like fairness, integrity, honesty, human dignity, service.
Why principles?
Because they offer a solid, unchanging foundation. They don't react to emotion or circumstance. They provide stable guidance, wisdom, security, and power, allowing for balanced, proactive decisions. Principles are like natural laws. They operate, whether we believe in them or not.
Okay, so let's recap habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. Key takeaway. It's about the incredible power of envisioning your desired future, consciously defining your life's true purpose.
Right, and understanding that crucial distinction between leadership doing the right things, setting direction, and management doing things right, efficient execution.
And the importance of crafting a principle-centered personal mission statement to act as your unshakable compass in, well, a pretty chaotic world.
Absolutely. That first creation is paramount.
All right, so we've got our end in mind, our compass set with habit 2. Now, habit 3 is about the second creation, right? The actual doing, but first things first.
Exactly. This is effective self-management, making sure that the important stuff, the stuff that aligns with your mission and values, actually gets done.
And the key here is focusing on quadrant 2 activities.
Yes, the time management matrix. Quadrant 2 is stuff that's important, but not urgent.
Okay, like what?
Things like building relationships, long-term planning, exercise, preventative maintenance, preparation, identifying new opportunities, personal development.
The stuff that prevents crises down the road.
Precisely. These are the activities that build your capacity, improve your effectiveness long-term, but because they're not urgent, they often get squeezed out by the urgent crises and deadlines of quadrant 3 or the interruptions and distractions of quadrant 3.
Yeah, that's a classic challenge for, well, probably everyone listening. The urgent always seems to demand attention over the important.
It does. Covey often asks that question. What one thing could you do that you aren't doing now, that if you did on a regular basis would make a tremendous positive difference in your personal life?
That's a quadrant 2 question, isn't it?
Absolutely. The answer is almost always a quadrant 2 activity. Exercise, planning, deep conversations, learning a new skill. It's about proactive growth, not just reactive problem solving.
And acting on quadrant 2 often means saying no to other things, even good things.
It requires courage and discipline. Covey tells that story about his wife, Sandra, getting asked to chair a committee. She felt pressured, said yes reluctantly.
Then what?
Then she called a friend to try and rope her in. The friend listened really carefully and then said, very politely but firmly, something like, Sandra, that sounds wonderful, but for various reasons, I won't be participating. Thanks so much for asking, though.
And Sandra's reaction?
She apparently turned to Covey and said, I wish I'd said that.
It's about having that bigger yes burning inside.
Right?
Knowing your core priorities so well that you can gracefully decline things that don't align without feeling guilty.
Exactly. And Covey recommends organizing your life on a weekly basis, not just daily.
Why weekly?
Because a week gives you better balance and context. You can schedule your priorities, those important quadrant 2 activities, proactively rather than just reacting to whatever pops up on your daily to-do list. It helps you see the bigger picture and make sure the important things get time allocated.
That makes sense. Now, delegation comes into play here too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But not just any delegation.
Right. He contrasts gopher delegation with stewardship delegation.
Gopher delegation is.
That's micromanaging. Go for this, go for that. Telling someone exactly how to do every little step. It's inefficient and doesn't build capacity in the other person.
Okay, so what's stewardship delegation?
Stewardship focuses on the results, not the methods. You clarify the desired outcome, the guidelines, the resources available, the accountability, and the consequences, good and bad. Then you trust the person to figure out the best way to achieve it.
Takes more time up front, maybe.
Definitely more time and thought up front to set it up clearly, but it's a massive investment. It liberates both parties. The person feels ownership and responsibility, they grow, and you're freed up to focus on higher leverage activities.
He tells that great story about delegating the yard work to his young son.
Oh yeah, the green and clean story. It's fantastic.
Tell us quickly.
Well, after weeks of nagging and supervising, gopher delegation, he shifts to stewardship. They walk the yard together, define green and clean clearly. He sets up accountability, the son will inspect his own work, dad inspects weekly, neighbors aren't involved unless the standard drops, the consequence. If it's green and clean, he gets his allowance and freedom. If not, dad hires the neighbor kid and deducts the cost.
And the result?
After some initial tears and resistance, the son takes complete ownership. The yard becomes greener and cleaner than it had ever been under Covey's constant supervision. Covey talks about the unbelievable motivation unleashed when you give people responsibility for results and trust them.
That's powerful. And the win-win agreement for his daughter using the car. Same principle.
Exactly. Clear expectations, rules of the road, car maintenance, usage limits, resources, the car, accountability, she reports they don't supervise, and consequences. Privileges continue or are restricted. It liberated everyone from constant nagging and checking up, built trust, not just control.
Okay, let's wrap up habit 3. But first things first.
Yeah.
Key takeaway. Proactively prioritize those important, non-urgent quadrant 2 activities. They're the key to long-term effectiveness.
Right. Manage your life weekly, not just daily, for better balance and context. Schedule your priorities.
And delegate effectively using stewardship focus on results. Trust people, clarify expectations. This empowers both you and them and builds self-discipline all around.
Nailed it. It's the habit of personal management.
Okay, we've covered the private victory habits 1, 2, and 3. Building character, defining purpose, managing ourselves. But life isn't lived in a vacuum, is it?
Not at all. Most of life, especially our most important results, is interdependent. We rely on and interact with others.
So now we shift gears into public victory, how we achieve effectiveness in our relationships with other people.
And the foundation for all effective interdependent relationships, Covey argues, is trust. He uses this brilliant metaphor, the emotional bank account, or EBA.
Okay, tell us about the EBA.
Think of it like a financial bank account, but for trust in a relationship. You make deposits through things like courtesy, kindness, honesty, keeping promises, apologizing sincerely.
Things that build trust.
Exactly. And you make withdrawals through things like disrespect, breaking trust, interrupting, overreacting, ignoring someone, being arrogant.
Things that erode trust.
Right. And a high balance in the EBA means communication is easy, fluid, effective. Mistakes are forgiven quickly because there's a reserve of trust.
But if the balance is low or overdrawn,
then every interaction is tense. Communication breaks down. There's no trust, no flexibility. Everything becomes difficult.
it's such a simple yet really profound way to think about relationships, isn't it? The currency is trust.
It really is. Covey shares some great stories about making deposits, like his friend who spent 6 weeks taking his son to every Major League Baseball game.
Even though the dad didn't like baseball.
Right. When Covey asked why, the friend just said, "No, but I like my son that much." That wasn't just about baseball. It was a massive, deep deposit in their EBA, building that unspoken bond.
That's lovely. And the college professor with his son who liked manual labor.
Yeah, another great one. Strained relationship, constant arguments about academics. Instead of nagging, the professor joined his son in a huge project building a miniature wall of China around their home. Took a year and a half.
Working side by side.
Yeah, turning conflict into connection.
Yeah.
That consistent shared effort. A monumental deposit. It transformed their relationship.
And sometimes it's the small things, isn't it? Like Covey putting his coat around his younger son.
And his older son, Stephen, noticing and asking later, "Daddy, if I were cold, would you put your coat around me too?"
Oh, it shows how even small, maybe unconscious acts of kindness register deeply, especially with kids. They're deposits that signal love and care.
Definitely. Another huge deposit is clarifying expectations up front.
Why is that so important?
Because so many withdrawals happen simply due to misunderstandings about roles or goals, like who's supposed to do what on a project. If expectations aren't clear from the start, it inevitably leads to frustration, disappointment, withdrawals. Clear expectations build trust.
And personal integrity, how does that fit in?
Integrity is fundamental to trust, and Covey distinguishes it from just honesty. Honesty is telling the truth. Integrity is making reality conform to your words, keeping promises, living your values.
Walking the talk.
Yeah.
No one's watching.
Exactly. Integrity in relationships means treating everyone by the same set of principles, consistently. People might not always like the difficult truths integrity requires sometimes, but long-term, they trust you because you're reliable, congruent.
He shares that funny story about overreacting when his son David was banging on the bathroom door.
Ah, yeah. He bursts out, all annoyed, ready to lecture him, only to find out David was getting a wet towel because his little brother was bleeding from the mouth.
Oops.
Big oops. But the key was, Covey immediately apologized, humbly acknowledged his mistake, his overreaction. That immediate, sincere apology helped restore the EBA, prevented a small misunderstanding from becoming a bigger withdrawal.
And this all connects to unconditional love, especially with kids.
Profoundly. Attaching strings to love, "I'll love you if you get good grades," or "if you do what I want," creates insecurity, resentment, counterdependency. Kids end up defining themselves in opposition.
Like the father who desperately wanted his son to go to a specific college.
Yeah. He finally realized his pressure was counterproductive. He and his wife decided, after deep thought, to give their son unconditional love and support regardless of his choice.
And what happened?
Paradoxically, once the pressure was off, once the son felt genuinely loved for who he was, not for meeting expectations, he ended up choosing that very college later on his own terms. Unconditional love frees people up.
Finally, Covey makes this point about production P and production capability PC.
Right. Every P problem, an issue with the result, the golden egg, is actually a PC opportunity, a chance to build the relationship, the asset, the goose that lays the golden eggs.
So don't just focus on fixing the immediate problem.
Use it as a chance to invest in the relationship, make deposits, build trust, strengthen the capability for future success. Focus on the goose and the golden egg.
Okay, key takeaway for the emotional bank account. Trust is the absolute bedrock of effective relationships.
And it's built through consistent deposits, kindness, clarity, keeping commitments, integrity, apologizing sincerely.
And crucially, viewing challenges not just as problems to solve, but as opportunities to strengthen the relationship itself, to build that production capability.
That's the essence of it.
All right, with a foundation of trust from a healthy emotional bank account, we can move on to habit 4. Think win-win.
Yes. And Covey starts with the story about a company president who was frustrated. He wanted more cooperation between his managers, but the company ran these highly competitive sales programs. Managers were pitted against each other for rewards, trips.
So the system itself was creating the lack of cooperation.
Exactly. Covey pointed it out. You can't change the fruit without changing the root. The reward system was rewarding win-lose behavior, so that's what he got. You can't talk cooperation while rewarding competition.
That makes total sense. It highlights the different paradigms for how people interact, right?
Yes. The 4 main ones: win-lose, I win, you lose, competitive; lose-win, I lose, you win, martyrdom or people-pleasing; lose-lose, we both lose, often the result of conflict driven by win-lose attitudes; and win-win.
And in interdependent situations where we need each other to succeed, which one works long term?
Only win-win. It's the only viable, sustainable solution. Covey states it clearly. In the long run, if it isn't a win for both of us, we both lose.
Why is that?
Because if I constantly win at your expense, win-lose, the relationship deteriorates. Trust vanishes. You won't want to cooperate with me anymore. Long-term success is undermined for both of us. Same if I'm always giving in. Lose-win, I build resentment and my needs aren't met.
And lose-lose is just destructive.
Right. Often the result of two determined win-lose individuals colliding.
So win-win seeks mutual benefit, solutions that work for everyone involved.
Yes. And a critical part of win-win thinking, one that's often missed, is the option of no deal.
No deal. What does that mean?
It means if you honestly can't find a solution that benefits both parties, you agreed to disagree agreeably. No deal. It's better to walk away preserving the relationship than to force a win-lose outcome that creates bad feelings.
That gives you emotional freedom, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially maybe in families or close relationships.
Huge freedom. Knowing you don't have to reach an agreement if it's not truly win-win takes the pressure off.
And it takes courage sometimes, like that client Covey mentions, the one who walked away from a big contract.
Oh, yeah, that's a powerful story. He walked away from an $84,000 contract because the dynamic felt win-lose, controlling. It was financially risky for him at the time.
But he stuck to the principle.
He did. And here's the kicker. 3 months later, the new president of that same company called him back, impressed by his integrity. They signed a new contract for $240,000.
Wow. Here's where it gets really interesting. That's a serious dividend on principle.
Isn't it? It just shows how prioritizing principle, sticking to win-win or no deal, can have unexpected long-term benefits, even if it seems costly short-term. Short-term wins at others' expense often lead to long-term losses.
So what does it take to actually think win-win? It sounds nice, but is it easy?
Not always easy, no. Covey says it requires 3 essential character traits. First, integrity. Knowing your own values, what a win really means to you, consistent with your principles. Having that internal compass from habit too.
Yeah.
Second, maturity. And he defines maturity specifically as the balance between courage and consideration.
Courage and consideration. Tell me more.
Courage is the willingness to speak your feelings and convictions clearly and respectfully. Consideration is the willingness to genuinely seek out and understand the other person's thoughts and feelings. High courage and high consideration equals win-win. Low on both is lose-lose. High courage, low consideration is win-lose. High consideration, low courage is lose-win.
Ah, that balance is key. Not being a doormat, not being a dictator.
Exactly.
And the third trait.
The abundance mentality.
Yes. The paradigm, the deep belief that there's plenty out there for everybody. Life isn't a zero-sum game.
As opposed to?
The scarcity mentality, which sees life as a fixed pie. If someone else gets a big slice, that means less for me.
And that scarcity thinking leads to difficulty sharing credit, feeling genuinely happy for others' successes, constant comparison, competitiveness. Covey says their sense of worth often comes from being compared, from being better than someone else.
That sounds exhausting and definitely undermines teamwork.
Totally. But the abundance mentality flows from a deep inner sense of personal worth and security. It leads naturally to sharing, creativity, cooperation, finding new possibilities together, rather than just fighting over limited resources.
Like that bank that transformed its management training.
Yeah. Instead of a 6-month competitive activity trap, they shifted to a short, learner-controlled program based on win-win agreements. Clear results, mutual benefit.
And it unleashed unbelievable motivation and creativity.
Exactly, because the system was aligned with win-win principles instead of undermining them.
And the daughter's car agreement from Habit 3, that's a win-win agreement too, isn't it?
Perfect example. Clear expectations, agreed resources, accountability for both sides, liberating for everyone involved, shows how win-win can work in everyday family life.
Okay, let's recap Habit 4. Think win-win. Key takeaway. True effectiveness in relationships hinges on seeking mutual benefit. Solutions where everyone gains.
Right. Remember that no deal is a valid, often wise alternative if a true win-win can't be reached. Protects the principle and the relationship.
And fundamentally, this habit isn't just a technique. It's rooted in character, integrity, maturity, that crucial balance of courage and consideration, and an abundance mentality. Believing there's enough for everyone.
That's the heart of it.
All right, Habit 5. This one feels like maybe the most crucial for actual communication. Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
It arguably is. Covey uses that great analogy. Imagine going to an optometrist.
Right. And before even checking your eyes, he just takes off his own glasses and says, here, try these. They work great. Not very. It perfectly illustrates the principle. Diagnose before you prescribe. Understand the problem deeply before you jump in with solutions.
And that's the absolute key to effective interpersonal communication, especially when emotions are high or the issue is complex. We have such a deep tendency to rush in with our own advice, our own perspective, before we've truly understood the other person.
So what does seeking first to understand actually look like? He talks about empathic listening.
Yes. Empathic listening is listening with the sole intent to understand, not listening to reply, to evaluate, to judge, to advise, to probe, or to interpret based on your own experience.
So it's more than just hearing the words.
Much more. It's listening with your ears for the content, yes, but also with your eyes for body language, and with your heart for the feeling, the meaning behind the words. You're trying to get inside the other person's frame of reference.
Seeing the world as they see it. Feeling what they feel.
Exactly. You're focused on receiving the deep communication of another human soul, not just collecting data for your rebuttal or solution.
It's not just mimicking words back, is it? Or even just intellectually grasping their point.
No, those are lower levels of listening. Empathy involves reflecting back both the content and the feeling you sense underneath, providing psychological air.
Psychological air, I like that. Like giving someone space to breathe emotionally.
Precisely. When people feel truly heard, truly understood, they feel validated, respected, defensiveness drops, trust builds, and they become much more open to then understanding your perspective.
He shares that scary story about the doctor on call during a football game.
Oh yeah, the baby prescription. Alarming. Prescribed medication over the phone for a sick baby without asking enough questions to realize the baby was a newborn.
Which could have been disastrous.
Critically dangerous. When Covey, who was helping the family, called the doctor back to clarify the baby's age, the doctor was shocked. No, I didn't realize. Good thing you called back. It just underscores the vital importance, sometimes literally life-saving, of diagnosing thoroughly before prescribing.
And we often fail to diagnose in conversations because we jump into what Covey calls the autobiographical responses.
Yes, those 4 common roadblocks. We tend to respond from our own frame of reference, our own autobiography.
What are they again?
Evaluating, agreeing or disagreeing, probing, asking questions from our own agenda, advising, giving counsel based on our experience, and interpreting, trying to figure people out based on our own motives.
We project our own stuff onto them.
Constantly. And it shuts down real communication because the other person doesn't feel heard or understood for who they are and what they're experiencing.
He gives that detailed father-son role play about school.
Yeah, it's a brilliant illustration. The son says, "Dad, school is for the birds."
And the dad's initial responses are all autobiographical, right? What do you mean? School's important. Evaluate. What's the matter? Problems with the teacher. Probe. You should just buckle down. Advising. You're just saying that because you failed a test.
Yeah.
Interpreting.
Exactly. And each one makes the son clam up or get defensive. He doesn't feel understood.
But then the dad shifts to empathic listening.
Right. He starts reflecting the feeling, "You sound really frustrated about school," or "You're feeling pretty discouraged right now."
And that gives the son
psychological air. He feels heard. "Yeah, Dad, I am. It's just..." And then the real issues start to tumble out. The defensiveness drops. True communication begins because the dad focused first on understanding.
And this isn't just for family squabbles. The corporate president in that negotiation.
Masterful use of Habit 5. Ask the other team to rate the contract first, then spend ages just seeking to understand their points, their concerns, rephrasing them until they felt completely understood.
And the result?
Such deep trust was built that the other side became incredibly open and receptive when it was finally his turn to present his concerns. He got a much better outcome by understanding first.
And the professor needing research funding.
Same thing.
Oh.
Struggled until he stopped focusing on his own presentation and started by empathically understanding the department's needs, interests, concerns. He described their viewpoint even better than they could themselves.
And then?
His proposal, framed in terms of their needs, was approved almost immediately because he diagnosed before he prescribed. He understood before seeking to be understood.
Okay, key takeaway for Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This is perhaps the single most crucial principle for effective communication.
Absolutely. Truly understand others first, not just their words, but their feelings, their perspective, their needs.
Diagnose before you prescribe. Give that psychological air.
And actively resist that powerful, almost irresistible urge to jump in immediately with your own autobiography, your evaluations, probes, advice, and interpretations. Listen to understand.
Powerful stuff.
Okay, after laying the groundwork with win-win thinking, habit 4, and empathic communication, habit 5, we arrive at habit 6, synergize.
Synergize. This sounds like where the magic happens, maybe. Not just managing interactions, but creating something new.
That's exactly it. Synergy is when the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It's where 1 + 1 = 3 or 10 or 100. It's the habit of creative cooperation.
Like those examples from nature. Two plants growing better together.
Yeah, simple examples. Their roots commingle, improve the soil for both. Or two pieces of wood properly joined, they can hold vastly more weight together than the sum of what they could hold individually. The relationship, the interaction itself, creates added value.
So, in human terms, synergy is about?
It's about genuinely valuing differences, not just tolerating them or trying to make everyone the same, but seeing differences in perspective, experience, opinion, style as opportunities, as strengths to build upon.
Valuing social, mental, emotional differences, not just physical ones.
Absolutely. When you have high trust from the EBA, good communication, habit 5, and a commitment to mutual benefit, habit 4, you can approach differences with the belief that together you can create something better than either of you could alone.
Covey tells that story about his university class, the one that decided to write a book.
Yes, a powerful example. By fostering a really safe, open environment where students felt genuinely free to express diverse ideas and truly listen to each other, habits 4 and 5 in action, the class sort of took on a life of its own.
They synergized.
Completely. They created this unexpected new direction writing a book together that transformed the learning experience for everyone, far beyond just covering the syllabus. A true 1 + 1 = 3 outcome.
And creating his own company's mission statement, that was synergistic too.
Very much so. They went off-site, almost everyone involved, spent days in open discussion, brainstorming, respecting diverse viewpoints, searching for that shared vision.
Not just the bosses deciding.
No, a truly collaborative, synergistic process. And because everyone helped create it, the resulting mission statement wasn't just a plaque on the wall. It was deeply embedded in everyone's hearts and minds. It became the guiding force.
So synergy often leads to finding these third alternatives, solutions that aren't just your way or my way or even a compromise.
Exactly. Compromise often means 1 + 1 1.5. Both sides give something up. Synergy aims for 1 + 1 = 3 or more, finding a new way, a better way, that satisfies the underlying needs of both parties.
Like the husband and wife with the conflicting vacation plans.
Yeah.
He wants fishing, she wants to visit her sick mother.
Right. Classic dilemma. Win-lose means one gets their way, the other resents it. Lose-win means one gives in unhappily. Compromise might mean a short trip for both, neither fully satisfied.
And synergy.
By really understanding each other's deep needs, habit 5, and committing to finding a solution that works for both, habit 4, they brainstorm until they find a third alternative. Maybe they find a campsite near the mother's town, allowing him to fish and her to spend quality time with her mom. A creative solution neither initially thought of that meets both core needs, no resentment, no guilt.
That's brilliant. It avoids the win-lose trap entirely.
And Covey tells that funny story about the Orlando couple. One logical, one intuitive.
Two half-brained people, he joked.
Yeah. When he asked how they managed communication, let alone having kids, the husband apparently said, "We synergize." Covey quipped back, "You must have. 1 + 1 = 4 in your case." They didn't try to make each other the same. They valued and utilized their differences.
It reminds me of that animal school fable he uses.
Oh, the fable's great. The school insists all animals take all subjects running, climbing, swimming, flying.
And the rabbit gets a nervous breakdown from swimming, the squirrel fails flying because the teacher insists on starting from the ground up.
Exactly. It hilariously illustrates the absurdity of ignoring natural differences and strengths, trying to force conformity. True synergy celebrates and leverages diversity. It doesn't try to eliminate it.
And this applies in serious situations too, like business disputes or community crises.
Absolutely. He gives real-world examples, a manufacturer's dispute, a land developer facing foreclosure. In both cases, by applying habits 4, 5, and 6 seeking win-win, understanding deeply, and then looking for creatives. Third alternatives, they avoided costly lawsuits, preserved relationships, and found solutions far better than adversarial approaches could ever yield.
Okay, let's recap habit 6, synergize. Key takeaway, it's all about creative cooperation, where the combined effort is way greater than the sum of the individual parts.
Right, and it absolutely requires valuing differences, seeing them as strengths, not weaknesses.
Plus high trust and open communication, drawing on habits 4 and 5, to explore those differences and find truly innovative third alternatives.
That's synergy. It's where the real breakthroughs happen in interdependent situations.
Okay, we've covered the private victory habits 1 to 3 that build independence, and the public victory habits 4 to 6 that build interdependence. But how do we keep it all going? How do we sustain this?
That brings us to the final habit, habit 7, which encompasses all the others and makes them sustainable. It's part 4, renewal and continuous improvement.
Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. This comes from that story, right?
Yeah.
The guy sawing down a tree.
Yeah. Someone comes along, sees him feverishly sawing, totally exhausted, suggests, why don't you take a break for a few minutes and sharpen that saw? You'd make much faster progress.
And the guy snaps back.
I don't have time to sharpen the saw. I'm too busy sawing.
Haha. It perfectly illustrates the point, doesn't it? We get so caught up in the doing, the producing, sawing, that we neglect maintaining the instrument of production, the saw.
Exactly. Habit 7 is about taking time to sharpen your own saw. It means preserving and enhancing the greatest asset you have. It's about personal PC, maintaining and improving your own production capability.
And Covey breaks this down into 4 dimensions we need to renew.
Yes, 4 fundamental dimensions of our nature: physical, spiritual, mental, and social emotional. We need regular renewal in all 4 areas to be effective long-term. Neglect anyone, and it impacts the others.
Okay, let's touch on each. Physical renewal.
That's about taking care of your physical body. Regular exercise, Covey emphasizes a balance of endurance, aerobic, flexibility, stretching, and strength, resistance training. Also, nutrition, rest, stress management.
It's about building that physical capacity to work, adapt, enjoy life. He mentions that friend lifting weights.
Yeah, pushing to the point of pain, because almost all the benefit comes at the very end. The nature overcompensates, the fiber is made stronger. It's about wisely stressing and recovering the body to enhance its capacity.
Okay. Spiritual renewal. This isn't necessarily religious, is it?
Not exclusively, no. It's about connecting with your core values, your center, your commitment to your value system. It could be through prayer, meditation, spending time in nature, immersing yourself in great music or literature. Whatever lifts and inspires you connects you to timeless principles.
Like Martin Luther saying he needed more prayer time on busy days.
Exactly. I have so much to do today, I'll need to spend another hour on my knees. He saw it as a source of power and clarity, not a time drain. Or the Zen master who carried his meditative peace with him all day. It's where, as Covey quotes, the greatest battles of life are fought out daily in the silent chambers of the soul.
Makes sense. Then, mental renewal.
This is about keeping your mind sharp, engaged, growing. It goes way beyond formal education. It involves continuous learning, reading broadly, exploring new subjects, also writing, organizing, planning, visualizing, critically thinking.
He really emphasizes reading good literature, doesn't he?
He does. There's no better way to inform and expand your mind on a regular basis. And he warns against letting our minds atrophy through passive activities like excessive TV watching. Be proactive about your mental diet.
Good advice. Finally, social emotional renewal. How does that work?
This dimension focuses on habits 4, 5, and 6. It's about building and maintaining strong relationships, making meaningful contributions, serving others, developing that intrinsic security that comes not from external validation, but from within, from living with integrity and contributing value.
Like Viktor Frankl finding meaning by helping others even in the camps, or Hans Selye's research linking long, healthy lives to service.
Exactly. It's about focusing on blessing the lives of others, making deposits in their EBAs, seeking win-win, understanding, synergizing. This dimension is renewed as we practice the public victory habits authentically.
And he tells that striking story about the bright versus dumb student groups.
Yeah, the self-fulfilling prophecy one. Teachers told some kids were bright, others dumb, though assigned randomly. Lo and behold, the bright kids' IQs went up, the dumb kids went down.
Because the teacher's expectations, their paradigms,
influenced how they treated the kids, which in turn influenced the kids' performance. It powerfully shows how our belief in the unseen potential of others is a profound form of social emotional renewal for them and for us. Seeing people in terms of their potential is a huge deposit.
And balanced renewal across all 4 dimensions creates synergy, right?
Absolutely. They're interconnected. Physical health impacts mental energy. Spiritual strength fuels emotional resilience. Improving any one habit synergistically helps you live all the others better.
Covey proposes a specific practice for this. The daily private victory?
Yes, a minimum of 1 hour a day, ideally early morning, dedicated to renewal across the physical, spiritual, and mental dimensions. Exercise, prayer meditation, study planning.
An hour just for sharpening the saw.
Yes. He argues it's completely within your circle of influence, and it's the key investment needed to develop and maintain all 7 habits. It's not a luxury, it's an absolute necessity for sustainable effectiveness.
Okay, key takeaway for habit 7, sharpen the saw. Continuous self-renewal in all 4 dimensions, physical, spiritual, mental, social, emotional, is absolutely essential for long-term effectiveness and well-being.
Right. This consistent sharpening the saw isn't just nice to have, it's maintaining and enhancing your greatest asset, yourself. It directly fuels your capacity to live all the other habits.
It's the habit that makes all the other habits possible.
So as we kind of bring this whole deep dive together, it's really crucial to loop back to that foundational inside-out philosophy.
Right, that core idea that started it all.
As Covey puts it, the Lord works from the inside out. The world works from the outside in. True change, lasting solutions, they always begin with changing ourselves first. Our paradigms, our character, our motives.
Not just trying to fix the external stuff or change other people.
Exactly. It all comes back to working within our circle of influence, starting with ourselves.
And it really hinges on that space, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That gap or space between stimulus and response.
That's our ultimate human freedom, our power to choose. That's where our growth, our happiness, our ability to live these habits truly lies. Expanding that space is key.
Covey shares another really personal story near the end about his time in Hawaii with Sandra.
Oh, yeah, the deep communication story. It's beautiful. They committed to 2 hours of deep daily communication while on sabbatical there. He really focused on practicing empathic listening, habit 5.
2 hours a day, that's commitment.
It was, and it led to this marvelous synergy, this profound understanding between them, even about seemingly small, trivial issues, like Sandra's Frigidaire hang-up.
Her what now?
Her absolute insistence on only ever having Frigidaire appliances, even if others were better rated or cheaper. It seemed irrational to him.
And Covey notes how often these seemingly trivial things have deep emotional roots, right? If you just deal with the surface, you trample on sacred ground.
Exactly. Through deep, empathic listening over time, Sandra eventually revealed the root. Her father was an appliance dealer years ago, saved from financial ruin during recession, only because Frigidaire extended him special financing when no one else would.
Wow. So her insistence wasn't about refrigerators.
It was about deep loyalty and love for her father. Understanding that completely transformed Covey's perspective on her hang-up. That level of understanding, born from habit 5, resolved a long-standing minor friction in a deep, lasting way. It could never have happened from the outside in just by arguing logic.
That's incredibly powerful, understanding the why behind the what.
It changes everything.
Finally, Covey issues this challenge, or maybe it's an invitation, to become a transition person.
Yes, this is profound. A transition person is someone who consciously chooses to stop passing on negative scripts, unhealthy patterns, beliefs, behaviors that they might have inherited from their family, their past, their culture.
So instead of just repeating the cycle,
they break the cycle. They examine the scripts, keep what's good, discard what's harmful, and consciously choose to adopt and pass on positive, principle-based scripts to the next generation. They become a bridge from a less effective past to a more effective future.
like Sadat in Cell 54 again, changing his own inner fabric.
Exactly. As Covey quotes, "He who cannot change the very fabric of his thought will never be able to change reality." Becoming a transition person is about proactively changing your inner fabric, your paradigms, your habits, to create a new reality for yourself and those you influence.
It's about taking responsibility not just for ourselves, but for the legacy we pass on.
Precisely. It's an upward spiral of growth. Learn, commit, do, learn, commit, do. Each turn builds on the last. It's a lifelong process, but one that Covey suggests brings the deepest meaning and fulfillment. Like T.S. Eliot wrote, "The end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time." You keep revisiting these principles at higher levels.
Okay, that was a deep dive indeed. Let's quickly recap the core principles from Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People that we've explored.
Sounds good. Let's crystallize them.
First, the foundation, the inside-out paradigm. Real change starts within. Shift from the superficial personality ethic to the deep character ethic by transforming your perceptions.
Second, habit 1. Be proactive. Take ownership. You are responsible. Focus energy on your circle of influence. Remember, love is a verb. Choose your response.
Third, habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. Know where you're going. Define your mission, your values. That's personal leadership, the crucial first creation before management.
Fourth, habit 3. Put first things first. Manage yourself effectively. Prioritize the important, not just the urgent. Quadrant 2. Use stewardship delegation to empower yourself and others. Discipline.
Fifth, bridging to relationships. The emotional bank account. Build trust through consistent deposits, kindness, clarity, integrity, apology. Cultivate unconditional love where appropriate.
Sixth, habit 4. Think win-win. Seek mutual benefit in all interactions. Requires integrity, maturity, courage plus consideration, and an abundance mentality. Remember, no deal is a valid option.
Seventh, habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. The key to communication. Practice empathic listening. Diagnose before you prescribe. Give psychological air. Truly grasp others' perspectives first.
Eighth, habit 6. Synergize. Creative cooperation. Value differences. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Work together to find innovative third alternatives. 1 + 1 = 3 or more.
And finally, ninth, habit 7. Sharpen the saw. Continuous renewal. Preserve and enhance your greatest asset you in all 4 dimensions. Physical, spiritual, mental, social, emotional. It makes all the others possible.
That's a solid summary of a lifetime of wisdom.
Absolutely. So as you, our fellow explorer, reflect on all this, here's a final thought to ponder. What aspect of your own inner script might be subtly holding you back right now? And what paradigm shift, what change in perception could potentially liberate you to achieve a whole new level of effectiveness and fulfillment?
It's a powerful question to sit with. We really encourage you to continue your own exploration of these principles. Apply them, experiment, see what unfolds in your life.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the 7 habits of highly effective people. It's been truly insightful to revisit this classic.
It really has. We truly appreciate you being with us today. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep growing. That's it from us today. This is Lisa and Jim signing off from Pod Talk. Hope you all have an informative session. Please like and subscribe for more such sessions. We hope to see you soon with a brand new topic of discussion.